There has been no comment from the White House after the Union President James Hoffa delivered a fiery speech only moments before the president took the stage at an event in Detroit. Listen here.
We got to keep an eye on the battle that we face, a war on workers. And you see it everywhere. It is the Tea Party. And you know there's only one way to beat and win that war. The one thing about working people is we like a good fight. And you know what? They got a war. They got a war with us. And there's only going to be one winner. President Obama, this is your army. We are ready to march. Everybody here has got to vote. If we go back and we keep the eye on the prize, let's take these son of a out and give America back to America where we belong.
And there was more where that came from. Marianne Marsh, former advisor to Senator John Kerry, Democratic strategist, Rich Lowry, National Review editor, and a Fox News contributor. To both of you, good morning. I mentioned nothing from the White House. I do have this, Amy Kramer from the Tea Party. She calls it uncivil, inappropriate, the rhetoric to be outrageous, and they're looking for an apology right now. Rich, why do you think this is, I guess in a phrase, classic hypocrisy?
Well, look, I mean, earlier this year, after the Gabby Giffords story, the White House and the Democrats and the media lectured everyone on how dangerous martial metaphors were, how crazy people would take them literally and go out and shoot people, and how we needed more civility in this country. President Obama himself, in a wonderful speech there in Arizona, said we need to use rhetoric that heals, not wounds. And then here you have Jimmy Hoffa at a podium, the president's about to take himself, using this sort of rhetoric, and the White House is silent. It's shameful and disgusting hypocrisy.
So what the Tea Party is saying is they're calling on President Obama, Marianne, to, quote, strongly rebuke Hoffa for his dangerous comments. Should he?
Obama's not going to apologize, and he shouldn't. The fact is, after being called every name in the book for the last 3 years, the only one who's paid the price is Barack Obama. Face it, he was tougher on Hillary Clinton in the 2008 primary than he's been on the Republicans these last 3 years, and the only one who's been hurt by it is Barack Obama. So now, we never heard John Boehner criticize, apologize for Joe Walsh calling Barack Obama a liar.
We never heard him.
John Boehner didn't. John Boehner didn't apologize when Joe Walsh called him an idiot last week. And John Boehner didn't criticize or apologize for the Republicans holding a fundraiser in Tucson this week to auction off a Glock. So Barack Obama's not going to apologize because he has to show people he's willing to fight for himself. Because if he doesn't fight for himself, voters think he won't fight for them. And you can't turn around and commit political suicide after you gave a speech saying, I'm going to fight for you, unions, I'm going to fight for your jobs, and then turn around and condemn him.
Well,
that would be political suicide.
I agree with you. He's not going to apologize because he's a tool of the unions and he needs these guys. But he's the President of the United States. He gave his national speech saying we need rhetoric that heals, not wounds. Now, what you're saying, Mary, I believe, is that that was patently insincere. It was only meant to apply to one side, and he wasn't going to take it seriously when it inconvenienced him politically. So that's exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm saying it didn't work. What I'm saying is it did not work.
Civility,
it has not worked.
So President Obama should now,
the last 3 years.
Should he go back and revise and extend his remarks and say, actually, let's use rhetoric that wounds and not heals?
No, when he gets hit, he needs to hit back. And that's what you do in politics. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, you will lose. People don't believe you. If you don't stand up for yourself, you're not going to stand up for them. That's fundamental politics.
Well, this just shows,
this just shows for the last 3 years.
You know, Rich, for 1 month in August, that's what the left was saying. Maybe not publicly, but privately. They were looking for this president to punch back and fight back.
Of course. No, that's what they've always been saying.
Entirely frustrated by the fact that he hasn't.
My point, though, is that it was entirely hypocritical then for the media, the White House, the Democrats, all in NOS to say we had to be more civil the beginning of this year. What they meant was Republicans and conservatives shouldn't use martial rhetoric. They shouldn't use fiery, incendiary language. But when it comes to their own side, it's totally fine. So that was utterly hypocritical. It was utterly insincere, and it went right to the top to President Obama.
What about that, Marianne?
It did. After 3 years, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It didn't change a thing. So now you have to fight back. You may not like it, you may not like the rules, but those are the rules of engagement. You have to fight back. Rope-a-dope might work in boxing for Muhammad Ali or someone else. It does not work in politics.
Well,
you have to fight for what you believe in.
Do you think the left has found its target, has placed that target on the Tea Party?
Of course.
And I mean, that's what can get the base motivated, because I mean, it's been 3 years since they've had much to motivate on. Because there's just been bad news after bad news.
They hate the Tea Party. They consider it illegitimate because it stands in the way of their progressive dreams. So they consider any sort of language or any tactic legitimate against it. And Marianne, I think this is where you're really barking up the wrong tree. If you think what President Obama needs to win the country back is a bunch of bullying rhetoric, you're totally wrong. He needs a jobs program that will actually work. That's what he doesn't have, and that's what he hasn't had over the last 3 years, and that's why he's so low in the polls,
I have 10 seconds,
not because he's been too polite.
I'll give you the last word, Marianne.
The fact is, the bullies in this fight have been the Republicans, and we all know bullies are cowards, and when you hit them back, they buckle. The Republicans will buckle when they get hit back. We'll see how they like getting treated the way they've treated President Obama these last 3 years.
You as well. You
schoolyard logic.
We'll see you on the playground. Thanks to both of you.
There you go.